Talk Live, and it is the Christmas Eve edition of the show, live here on Saturday night, as we always are. We always do a live Saturday show, and I'm not going to take time off for the holidays because I like doing radio, and I enjoy bringing people live content every single night of the week. So, by the way, with you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
And special thanks to our board operator over at the Genesis Communications Network. Brad came in tonight just to sit with us here on Christmas Eve and do a radio show.
Brad, thank you for your service.
Yep, we wouldn't be able to do it without you. Or at the very least, we'd only be on the internet without Brad, because he's the guy who's making it possible for us to be on the satellite tonight, which distributes the show to the various wonderful radio stations that are airing us live, presuming they haven't been, flipped to Christmas music. Sometimes stations will do that, where even though it's a talk radio station, the talk content choices, like the menu of talk radio shows that are in existence out in the syndicated world, it's just garbage on just in general on weekends, but certainly even worse on a Christmas holiday, because most people are not going to be live on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but we are. So there's actually a couple. I know of at least one station that's actually stopping the music at 7 p.m. Eastern Time so they can play Free Talk Live.
Nice.
Live. So, yeah. So it's good to be here. We're here. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Coming up, Darryl, you've got a story related to Christmas, specifically polling numbers.
Yes. About
people and their belief in Santa Claus.
Yes.
As well as Donald Trump.
Right. And it's not just belief in Santa and their belief on whether or not Donald's on the naughty list or the nice list. But there's also questions about Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays. How many people are offended by those different phrases? Is there a war on Christmas? And what is more concerning, a war on Christmas or a war with China?
That is all very interesting, and I definitely want to hear that. Also, we want to hear from you. If you want to share your thoughts on anything, you can join us. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We're going to start out, though, with a pastor
he definitely doesn't believe in Santa.
In Texas, who has caused a stir. Now, this story is a few weeks old at this point, a couple weeks old, and I wanted to hold on to it until tonight for obvious reasons. The story coming from theamericanmirror.com. Pastor Dave Grisham filmed himself recently standing in an Amarillo, Texas mall and heckling children as they waited in line to meet Santa. So we're just going to jump in rather than giving you the story here. We're just going to play the audio for you from the mall here. Again, we've all seen these situations. We've probably been in them as children, sitting on Santa's lap in some mall somewhere.
20 years ago, I was a mall Santa.
You were a mall Santa?
I was.
How long were you a mall Santa for? Just one season? Or?
One season, and then they brought me back as the Easter Bunny the following year.
So did you like it?
I did.
Really? Rewarding job? You dealing with the kids were on their best behavior, that kind of thing? Or
yeah, it was fun. I'd say it was fun.
What would you have done if you were the mall Santa and this guy showed up? Here, I'll let you answer that question here in a moment, but let's play the audio here. So he's walking in.
It's Pastor Dave Grisham here for Last Frontier Evangelism. And today we're at the mall in Amarillo, Texas, and we're going to tell the children here today the truth that there is no Santa Claus and that Christmas is about Jesus Christ. Jesus died on the cross to pay for their sins. And Jesus was born in a manger 2016 years ago. So here we go. We're going to tell them the truth.
All right, so he's walking up towards the Santa.
Folks, my name is Pastor David. Kids, I wanted to tell you today that there is no such thing as Santa Claus. Santa Claus does not exist. The Christmas season is about Jesus. Jesus was born 2016 years ago. He was born in a manger in a small town called Bethlehem. And that's the truth about Christmas. The man you're going to see today is just a man in a suit, dressed up like Santa, but Santa does not exist.
And there are kids staring at this man as he is saying these things.
Of course they're staring at the man.
He has their attention, for sure.
Because, anybody that just walks up and starts screaming, it doesn't matter what it is they're talking about, people are going to, stop and look. And then ultimately somebody's going to be like, Oh, okay. I'm not interested
It's a crazy
in that.
man. Yeah, well, unfortunately, you can't turn off what this man is saying, and so he
Correct.
is ruining a lot of kids' Christmases right here, supposedly because he loves Jesus and, is a religious person. Wasn't there a sort of a prescription in the Bible that says that Christians are supposed to pray in the closet, that they're supposed to kind of keep their religion to themselves unless they're asked about it?
There was definitely the thing about, pray in your closet.
Yeah.
So, don't go out and show people, I'm holier than you are.
Like this guy, basically.
Well, he's not saying that he's holier than other people. He's doing a form of evangelism.
It's evangelism, which I think the Bible is sort of against, at least if I recall correctly.
No, not necessarily.
No? Okay.
The Bible is against the over sort of what's the opposite of piety?
I don't know.
But like the putting it out of I'm more righteous than you. I fasted for a week, and just telling people, how righteous you are. The Bible's against that, but the Bible's not against, telling people the truth.
Well, in this case, he continues, and as you might expect, eventually a couple of angry parents do get up in his face.
Yes.
So here we go.
Santa's not real. And parents, y'all need to stop lying to your children and telling them that Santa Claus is real when in fact he's not. When you substitute the lie of Santa Claus in the heart of your child for the truth of Jesus Christ, you are bearing false witness against God.
Now, does it have to be a substitution? I mean, isn't it possible to tell your kids about Santa Claus and also have a religious sort of belief system that you're communicating to them at the same time? Does it have to be one or the other? Can't it be both?
It could be both. And also, like the whole concept of Christmas as it is, generally celebrated is sort of an amalgamation of a bunch of different religious festivals that all happen in the wintertime.
That's true. I mean, basically the Christians did take over, sort of subsumed a lot of the pagan rituals that existed at the time. The Christmas tree, for instance.
Right.
The time of year that it happens.
Correct.
And I know there's more. I just don't, I haven't studied that real deeply. The toll-free number, if you want to join us with your thoughts here, we are live on Christmas Eve here on Free Talk Live. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. If you were standing in line as a parent with your kid waiting to go and see Santa Claus, and this guy comes up and starts shouting about, how Santa's not real, how would you have handled that situation? You can share your thoughts with us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. More audio here.
Don't lie to your children and tell them there's such a thing as Santa when you know in reality that there are no flying reindeer, there is no workshop at the North Pole, there is no elves making toys.
Well, now, how do you really know that? I mean, you've never been to the North Pole, now have you? Most people listening, I suspect, have not. It could be real. I mean, we presume that it's not real. There's no evidence that it's real, so I guess that, you do have to kind of prove a claim. But is he onto something here saying, hey, you really shouldn't be lying to your kids? And I think
the whole you shouldn't be lying to your kids thing, I can go along with.
Yeah.
But to say that, Santa's not real, well, no, there are people that dress up as Santa. It would also, kind of be akin to him going to McDonald's and saying, Ronald McDonald's not real. Well, there's a guy that dresses up in a suit.
there's a statue of him.
Does that not make him real?
We got more to come up here with audio from the parents about to confront this guy, and we'll share that with you coming up here in moments.
Are Batman and Superman real? There are people that dress up as them.
That's true. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. We're live on Christmas Eve. It's Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-967-9298. Strict limit of 1 per household.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking new biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. If your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. Think you might be bloated? See how much flatter New Biotics makes your belly. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-967-9298. That's 1-800-967-9298. 1-800-967-9298.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Buying a burger might start taking a bite out of your wallet. Meat prices skyrocketed this week after the place that makes the meat revealed that the cow smashing machine is all beefed up.
This machine has beef way up in it. The basher, the meat collector, even the main meat hole, all of it. Lousy with beef.
The cow smashing machine is an integral part of the meat making process, taking whole big cows into one end, with all different meats falling out the other. Supermarket chains warn that unless we start smashing cows again soon, we could face a serious beef shortage. The beef industry is working hard to unclog the cow smasher, but says it could take several days or even weeks to scoop all the beef that's crammed up in there. Until it's fixed, meat-hungry Americans can take solace in the fact that the chicken grinder is working at full capacity, just completely tearing up all those chickens, and the pig machine is porking out hardcore. Up next, bluesmen find a rising trend of their babies done leaving on that their old devil train.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and it is the live Saturday edition of the show. We are live here on Christmas Eve, and if you're tuned in, you can join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Or just Skype into the show at our Skype username, which is lrn.fm. Now, of course, it's too late to buy something for Christmas, obviously. As far as getting it delivered by tomorrow, that's impossible at this point.
Not impossible.
No?
You could send someone a gift card, an electronic gift card.
Okay.
But a physical product, yes.
But it's still not too late to get 20% off over at tipsyelves.com. because you can use code FTL and you'll get 20% off anything in the store. We've had the ugly Christmas sweaters that they make on us throughout the Christmas season here. As soon as it starts getting cold, I drag that thing out because Tipsy Elf sweaters are all about fun. They're serious on quality and construction. If you're attending a holiday party and you're wearing a Tipsy Elf sweater, you will likely be the talk of the party. Certainly people will be commenting to you. It'll start some conversations, as our co-host Jay Noon discovered when he went to an ugly Christmas sweater party wearing the sweater that you loaned him from tipsyelves.com, Darryl, and he said that his was definitely the funniest sweater there. So it can be ugly and funny, and you can find that over at tipsyelves.com, or just ugly. You get those too over at tipsyelves.com. Use code FTL at the checkout, and that'll get you 20% off site-wide. And that's not just Christmas sweaters. They've also got Christmas suits for men. For women, holiday leggings, sweater dresses, pajamas. They've even got things for pets.
And collegiate apparel.
That's correct. A completely different line. Collegiate line is also 20% off if you use code FTL at checkout at tipsyelves.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts here, we're playing audio, and we've got a little bit more, about a minute left in this audio of a pastor in Texas who confronts a line of people in a mall who are waiting to bring their kids up to sit on Santa's lap and, do that whole thing. But except he's there to ruin everybody's day with the message of Christ. He's going to let them know, and he is letting them know in this video, that there is no Santa Claus. It's just a man in a suit, and the reason for the season is Jesus. He says we're going to get back into that.
But isn't Batman just a man in a suit? Isn't Iron Man just a man in a suit?
Well, he's
Aren't
mad.
all superheroes that go around to Comic-Con and allow people to pose with them just men in suits?
He's mad specifically at this man in a suit because he believes he's, replacing Jesus.
Right, and some people, really are into Superman and Batman.
Yeah, but I don't think any... I mean, maybe there's a religion surrounding DC
There's
Comics.
There's not a religion surrounding Santa Claus.
I get where you're coming from. Let's go to you with your calls and thoughts here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Is this pastor in the right doing what he's doing? How would you respond if you were standing in line as a parent? How do you feel about this guy? You're welcome to share your thoughts here. Let's talk to Jerry, listening in Virginia Beach to WNIS. Jerry, you're on the live Christmas Eve edition of Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
Okay. Well, I wanted to respond to your the pastor or the evangelist that was speaking about there's no such thing as Santa Claus.
Sure.
My kids are now grown, and it came to a point one day before I got involved in my faith that I used to promote Santa Claus quite a bit. But I do feel when children are very small, that's part of their innocence, the idea of having the big fat man in the suit and the reindeer and North Pole and the whole 9 yards. That's great. But by the time they get to a point, whether it's for their bar mitzvah or their confirmation, when they get 12 or 13 years old, then it's time to really break the news about the person of the faith that you feel is important in your family. I don't see any harm that it could be doing when you have little toddlers running down the steps early in the morning believing that Santa Claus took the cookies, while mom and dad are in the bed, sleep, tired from putting together all the toys and mechanisms. I went through it, and I enjoyed my childhood, and so did my children. So
how did you end up finding out? Because I remember when I don't know, it must have been like 7 or 8. I wasn't that old when I finally figured out that I kind of figured it out. They didn't just break the news to me. I was asking too many questions, right? Like I was kind of on to this. What about you, Jerry? What was your story?
Well, what I did, I was being disobedient. My mom and dad went out shopping for a brief period. I was about 8, 9 years old, and I snuck into my mother's room. And lo and behold, behind one of the dressers, there was my drum set and a few other things. And my Steve McQueen, Wanted Dead or Alive, sawed-off rifle, and all the things, the Bulldog tank. I'm kind of dating myself. I'm near 70 years old. But, yes, I think Santa Claus has a place in society just to make the kids happiness. But I believe Jesus Christ is the reason for the season. And they should be told at the appropriate time what it's really all about and not about greed.
There you go. Jerry, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. I appreciate the call here.
Okay,
Thank you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get your story, Darryl, about how you found out here in a moment.
I
But
really
first,
don't remember.
Really? All right, well, okay. So no suspense there, guys. We'll go to you with your calls and thoughts here. Jack is in Jackson, Michigan, listening to WKHM. Jack, you're on Free Talk Live Christmas Eve edition.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
Good. Yeah, a couple things. First off, I'm an evangelical Christian myself. We belong to a very conservative denomination, and I don't teach Santa Claus to my kids. I teach them about who Saint Nicholas was, the historical Saint Nicholas, but I do understand, the fun of the Santa Claus kind of the whole, just the fun of Saint Nick or Santa Claus and the way to do it. So we replace that with other things. I do treasure hunts on Christmas morning for my kids, leave them little notes so they can find their presents. And we don't do Santa, but we try and replace it with things that are more fun, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But secondly, I want to comment on the pastor. The Bible refers to being fishers of men, going out, and Jesus talks to his disciples about being fishers of men. That basically means you're going out and spreading the good news. That's part of the Great Commission that Christians are supposed to do. But here's a little tip for people that want to do that. And I'll ask you a question. If you are a fisherman, what do you need to catch fish?
Bait.
Bait, yeah, but what is the most important thing you need to catch fish?
Time.
You need you need hungry fish.
Okay.
See, if fish aren't hungry, they're not going to take the bait.
Sure.
Right. I was thinking more, like if I'm going fishing, things that hooks, bait, line, my rod and reel,
beer.
You can be prepared as much as you want with all those things. And the same is true for spreading the gospel. You can know the Bible back and forth and up and down. You can know everything, but if you don't have hungry people, you're not going to catch. You know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at here?
Yes.
So tact is what I'm getting at. When you go in line and you're not catching men. You're not catching souls.
So you're saying here that as an evangelical, that this guy is going about it in the wrong way. Jack, hang on. I want you to be able to answer that with time here. So hang on. We're going to bring you back. Jack's with us. You can join us as well. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Live Christmas Eve edition. We're here. We'll take your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. It's Free Talk Live.
The final phase of extermination is set to commence now. And as population die-off becomes evident, you know it is the time of punishment in all that is written. The cover for mass die-off is evolution and global warming frauds, also used as false proof of their Christ. They are from the lines that were disinherited 2,000 years ago. Now they claim to be his Christ based upon blood type, DNA, and long lifespan. Go to unveilingthem.com. That's UNVEILING them.com.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live Christmas Eve edition. We're here. We'll take your calls about anything. It doesn't have to be about this pastor who went into a mall in Amarillo, Texas, and just proceeded to inform a line full of children and parents that Santa Claus isn't real, kids. Your thoughts are welcome. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. How would you have felt if you were one of the parents standing in line and this guy comes around and just basically ruins everything that you've set up as far as many years of, trying to have a little bit of fun with the kids? Is it the same thing as lying if you're just kind of creating a fun story? I mean, are movies lies to kids? Those people aren't real either. Is Santa Claus really the same thing as a lie? I mean, yeah, it's not true, but it's not like you're trying to deceive the kids for, a negative reason with Santa Claus. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess his best point is that Santa Claus isn't, you're not telling your kids the truth, and you don't want to teach your kids that it's okay to lie. So I think that's his most persuasive point. But I guess I'm curious how you feel about it.
I'd say the bigger lie is the Tooth Fairy.
Why? Why is that bigger?
Well, because at least with Santa, there are people that dress up as Santa.
True.
And, there's people that will do, secret Santa to where they'll just go around and, give somebody a present and nobody ever really knows who it's from. With the Tooth Fairy, that's a lie from the get-go. All it is, you taking the tooth and sliding, a dollar bill or a quarter. Yeah. I don't even know what a tooth goes for these days.
It's probably more than a quarter. It was a quarter or whatever, maybe 50 cents when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was in the 80s.
But, that's just a big, huge, flat-out lie.
Toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Something else that's a lie is, well, pretty much everything the government tells you. And they want you to get health insurance. In fact, they're trying to force you to get health insurance, but there are still ways around it. HealthExcellenceSelect.com is an option that actually gives you freedom from health insurance. So you go with healthexcellenceselect.com to give you a proactive health assessment daily, a no-charge 24-hour access to doctors, including traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and the price over at healthexcellenceselect.com. Plus, they'll give you a medical information card that you can give to EMS, first responders, the emergency room, or whatever medical professional you want. Just head over to learn more at healthexcellenceselect.com. We go back to Jack. He's in Jackson, Michigan, listening to WKHM. We're here live on Christmas Eve. Jack, you were telling us that you, like this pastor, are also an evangelical Christian, but it sounded like maybe you weren't in favor of his tactics, going in just...
No, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, sir, I'm not at all. And like I said, with the analogy of fishing, when Jesus tells his disciples to be fishers of men, I had said, to catch fish, you need hungry fish.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't have any hungry fish in that line of people going to see, Santa Claus, quote unquote, what good are you doing? You're being a nuisance and an annoyance. Now, I'm kind of in a precarious situation here because I can't say that what I hear him saying is incorrect. Okay, let's establish that. I'm not saying he's doing anything to be mischievous himself. Maybe his heart is in the right place, but I think it does lack an element of tact. Because if I am annoying you and I call up at this show every night and I annoy you, and then tomorrow night I annoy you, and then I try to talk to you about Jesus and why I believe in what I'm not going to do any good.
We actually have a caller like that.
I know, but we're not discussing other people here.
Right.
Basically, when Christians will take the Great Commission, and that is what we refer to as going out and spreading the gospel to basically all the lands, all the living creatures. It says actually, but what that is only half of it. To spread the gospel is actually only half of the Great Commission. The other half is to make disciples, and people, what they do is skip that part. And just about every Christian you talk to doesn't understand what that means. A disciple, is a student. My question is, are you making students out of people? Are you actually teaching the gospel when you're just in their face? And
no, and I can't imagine that anybody in that line was saying to themselves, we really ought to get down there to the the church that this guy's from. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Jack. I appreciate.
And you're not opening a two-way dialogue at all.
Yep,
so.
that's right. Yeah, he's just shouting. He's just shouting at people. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. And there's a time and place where that may not be a bad tactic if the goal is not to recruit the people you're shouting at. Like,
right.
If the goal is to promote via the video that you make why your organization is so great, or try to get a bunch of views on YouTube, because this did get some views on YouTube. It's up to nearly 600,000 views.
How many dislikes clicked on that video?
5,200 compared to 1,200 likes.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
me. That means anything. I mean, some people. Well, anyway, let's continue with your calls and thoughts here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Let's talk to Rob, listening in Oakland, New Jersey, to WVNJ. Go ahead, Rob.
Yes. Is it okay if I mention a lecture on YouTube?
A lecture?
A lecture.
Oh, a lecture. Yeah, sure.
All right. You just go YouTube, search Richard Carrier Mythical Jesus.
And what will one find? I mean, kind of give us a summary of what that is.
He's a doctorate in ancient history, and he did research on the historicity of Jesus. And the irony is that pastor saying that Santa's not real. Jesus is improbable at being real.
That's an interesting point. The point could be that there's even less evidence that Jesus existed than there is that Santa Claus.
Exactly. The thing is, the Gospels, like the first Gospel is Mark. By most scholars, like the first Gospel is Mark, and it's all allegory and literary allusions to the Old Testament. It's not recording history. And the earliest Christian writings are the Pauline epistles, and he talks about like a strictly heavenly being. And there's interpolations in it that make him look like he's historical, but Paul is talking about a heavenly being that had like a heavenly celestial sacrifice.
Yeah, and aren't there some parallels that were drawn between Jesus, the character, and also like the sun god for instance.
That's a mistake. Drawing like pagan parallels.
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
Is
there
it?
are some, but if you really do the research, it's all Jewish. It's like all Jewish from Scripture.
So there's
it's
one
like,
of the Zeitgeist movies.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And everything that they claim in that Zeitgeist of every religion is the same as Christianity, all of that info has been debunked numerous times.
Yeah,
interesting.
That's bad scholarship from the 18th century.
Okay. Rob, thanks for bringing that up tonight, man. Anything else you want to share? Go ahead.
No, just check out Richard Carrier, Dr. Robert M. Price, and David Fitzgerald. If you research them and what they say and stuff,
The Mythical Jesus, you said. The Mythical Jesus?
Yeah, Richard Carrier, Mythical
Thank you,
Jesus.
Rob. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call tonight. And, Merry Christmas and all that. Happy holidays. We got to get to these statistics here in a little bit because you've got an interesting poll numbers about how Americans feel about Christmas. We'll get into that coming up. But we're actually not done with the audio from this video of the pastor who just is trying to ruin some children's Christmas by going and supposedly telling them the truth, or at least what he believes the truth is about Jesus and so on and so forth.
Right, and he also said that Jesus was born 2016 years ago when actually most biblical scholars will say that Yeshua, who is who most people call Jesus, was likely born somewhere between 4 BC and 7 BC.
All right.
When they did the counting for the calendars, they were off by a couple of years, but they didn't realize it until several years later, and they were like, we're not going to change the calendar again, because they aren't really certain. So that's why, again, most estimates is either 7 BC to 4 BC.
Yeah, who's more real? Is Jesus the character more real, or Santa Claus more real? I think that guy was making an interesting point. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Was Jesus the Son of God, or was he just another prophet, as some other religions believe?
That's what the Jews believe.
And the Muslims. Free Talk Live. You can join us here. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveAtPurse.com. Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL, and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL.
Will the government protect your family from Iran and North Korea's newest weapon, EMP? We buy guns to protect ourselves, home, health, and car insurance for accidents. Maybe you also have food storage. But how would you keep your refrigerator running in a long-term EMP blackout? Using tested military designs, the Solark EMP-hardened solar generator protects and powers your critical appliances for years without burying items underground or wrapping them in aluminum foil. Unlike other preps, Solark is used every day to help offset your electric bill automatically. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to learn how easily expandable the system is. Solark is the most affordable and powerful solution on the market. The whole system even fits in the back of a pickup or SUV and can install in less than an hour. See for yourself why Solark beats other off-grid systems at PortableSolarLLC.com. Don't wait for the government. Go to PortableSolarLLC.com to learn why Solark is energy insurance for your family.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Has this election season gotten you excited about the Libertarian Party? Has it gotten you mad? Do you want to see more candidates like Gary Johnson? Or do you want to see hardline libertarians? Either way, you don't have to sit on the sidelines and complain. You can make a difference by getting involved. Free Talk Live has, believe it or not, negotiated a free membership for you in the Libertarian Party at lp.org/FTL. This is a limited time offer, so go sign up for your free membership now at lp.org/FTL.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition. We are here on Christmas Eve, and we have time for you if you'd like to join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Now, you don't have to comment on the topic that's on the table, which is this pastor in Amarillo, Texas, where he walks into a mall. He's got a video camera, and then he just proceeds to announce openly and loudly to a large line of people that are waiting to have their kids visit Santa Claus. He announces to them that Santa is not, in fact, a real character, that he is a man in a suit, and that therefore it's some sort of violation, that kids, your parents have been lying to you. Shame on you, parents. I mean, I'm summarizing essentially what he says here over the first 2 minutes of the video. We'll play the remaining minute here in a moment when he gets confronted by some of the parents, understandably upset about what this man is doing. And we continue with your calls and thoughts. You can join us. By the way, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, you can get your shopping done with us by going to shop.freetalklive.com. You enter Amazon through the links you'll find there. Amazon US, UK, Canada. Just get your shopping done. Free Talk Live will get a portion of the purchase price when you start your shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Kevin. He's in Lakewood, New Jersey. Kevin, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Darryl.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Kevin. Great. Go ahead.
Yeah, firstly, the pastor, I believe he could definitely, as your caller earlier precluded to, he could definitely use a lesson in tact.
Yeah.
Number one, the book of Matthew tells us, I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ, and I don't know the Bible. I can't quote every book and passage and verse in it, but, what I do know, I believe I got a pretty firm grasp on. The book of Matthew tells us when you pray, don't stand on a street corner and, wave your arms and draw this attention to you. Because that attention, that adoration that you're receiving, that is your reward. That's as far as your reward is going to go, as far as God's concerned. The people looking at you and going, wow, look how holy that guy is. Look how dedicated he is. That's it. So I'm surprised the pastor, hasn't taken a little more notice than that.
Well, there's plenty of hypocritical pastors out there. I mean, this really shouldn't surprise anybody. I mean, some of these guys are just terrible.
Yeah. I can understand. I can certainly relate. I can empathize where he's coming from, though. I mean, it was a real place of debate, with the mother of my kids. I have a 7-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. And when my son was born, he started, he was a year old or so, and Christmas time was coming up, and I was pretty much against the Santa Claus thing, because this was my problem. How do you have children? And you're teaching them, of course, you're going to teach them about Santa Claus, and they're excited about that, and they look forward to it every year. And as a Christian, you're trying to teach them about Jesus also, in stages as it goes. And at a point in time, there comes a point in time where it's like, okay, now you know that Santa's not real, sorry. But this other guy we've talked about all these years, now he is real. You got to believe in him.
I see where you're coming from.
I know we lied to you about this thing, but this other thing wasn't.
So like the boy who cried wolf, right? Where he lies, and then all of a sudden the wolf shows up. Okay, yeah, I get where you're coming from.
That's not instilling a good and that's you have faith in something and then abandon it.
You could be planting. If you are a Christian who's teaching about Santa Claus, you could be planting seeds of doubt inadvertently in your kids' minds. I get where you're coming from with that. That's an interesting point. So, what ended up happening between you and your wife at the time? Are you guys still together, or?
Well, like I said, my son's 7, my daughter's 4. My son still believes in Santa. But in the last couple of years, like you said, I've been planting that seed. I've been telling him there's a secret of Christmas. His name is Tanner. Mm-hmm. Tanner, there's a big secret about Santa. You're going to learn it, And I've been telling him there's these steps that that men take in their lives, that people take in their lives, and it's all about growing up in these big steps. And you're ready to take a big step pretty soon, about learning this big secret of Christmas. That's what I tell them.
That's kind of a cool way to, maybe if you're, like you're saying, planting that seed of, hey, there's this secret, then maybe it won't hurt as much when he finds out about it.
I'm trying to set him up for this. I don't want this to be a traumatic thing for him, and I certainly don't want it to cause any abandonment in his faith in Jesus. Which,
if you were the one who was against teaching them about Santa Claus, how did you end up losing that that discussion? Because presumably both parents need to be on the same page about this, because you don't want one parent saying one thing and the other one saying the other. So
she makes more money than me. I don't know what else to say. No, I mean she's it's been a give and take thing. Mm-hmm. The other thing I was going to say too.
But is she also religious? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is she also religious?
No, she's not, and that has been I mean, we're actually separated now.
Okay.
That was a huge area of concern in our relationship. She wasn't interested in that.
All right.
But I was going to say also, if there's more than one kid, the siblings, like my daughter is 4, my son's 7, I think it's going to help also. With him, like I'm saying, these steps in growing up, he's going to learn the secret of Christmas, and now it's up to him, to help his sister along. So now he's going to, now Willow's going to learn this too. She still believes in Santa, so I think that's going to help him, kind of along. He knows something that his sister doesn't. Now he's the bigger brother. He gets the, guide her through it and everything.
Kevin, thanks for calling to share your experience tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, and Merry Christmas. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you here in the studio, by the way, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
And we've got Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Playing more now from the video of the pastor in Texas who went into a mall and started yelling about how Santa isn't real. Here's the rest of it.
That you buy all the gifts and put them under the tree, that's all the truth. And there is no real Santa Claus. There is no Santa. It is not your place to lie to your children. Tell them the truth about Jesus Christ. Tell them the truth about what Christmas is all about. That it's about Jesus and it's not about Santa Claus. There is no Santa Claus. There is no Santa Claus. It's about Jesus. Tell them the truth.
Go. Yes, we do tell them the truth. Now, go on.
Sir, don't put your hands on me.
Go on. Quit talking this mess. You understand me?
Keep your hands to yourself.
I got my kids over there. We don't need you coming over here blabbing whatever the hell you blabbing.
I'm telling them the truth, that there is no Santa Claus.
Now, go.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. You need to keep your hands to yourself, sir, and don't put your hands on people. That's assault.
Don't come over here talking your mess.
And don't come over here and tell your children the truth. That there is no Santa Claus?
Now there's another guy showing up here, so he's starting to attract a number of people directly in front of him here at this point.
It's not your decision for me to tell my kids what's the truth and what's not.
The truth is there is no Santa Claus.
Okay.
There is no Santa, and Christmas is about Jesus.
But the parents are all right with that.
The parents are all right with lying to their kids.
Yeah. Not your decision to make.
That's a sin. It's a sin in the eyes of God.
Kids,
there is no Santa. Santa's not real. Your parents are lying to you. Don't believe it.
There is a Santa.
Y'all have a nice day.
All right, so he takes off before mall security can arrive to presumably remove him from the premises, as they likely should do in that circumstance. Is it a sin to tell your kids a lie about Santa Claus?
Lying is, a violation of one of the 10 Commandments.
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
Yes.
That one.
So telling a lie is bearing a false witness.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's his strongest point, is that you shouldn't lie to your kids. And I think the guy who called earlier makes a good point, and that is that if you are indeed a religious person and you're teaching your kids about Santa Claus, inevitably knowing that inevitably they're going to find out the truth, and, well, okay, mom and dad lied to me about this, so what else are they lying to me about that? Yeah, that's how I ended up becoming very skeptical of the state when I found out the state was lying to me about the war on drugs. When they were lying to me about marijuana, I found myself wondering, what else are they lying to me about? If they're lying to me about this relatively benign plant and telling me all kinds of horror stories about this relatively benign plant, then what else am I being, precluded from knowing?
Right.
So you can share your thoughts with us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. But I also agree that, this guy's tactics are terrible. He's not going to get through to anybody. He's going to cause a lot of confusion. He's going to cause a lot of anger between the children and the parents, cause some conversations that perhaps the parents weren't ready for.
Right.
So, not the best approach. I don't know if there would be a better approach as far as people in a line waiting for Santa Claus. Probably not the right time or the place for what it was that he was trying to do.
Maybe some kind of, I don't know if literature, like a trifold handout.
Yeah,
sort of
literature
something.
To maybe try to persuade the parents. Now, you don't want to go and hand the kids, hey kids, Santa's not real. That wouldn't work. That would just cause the same kind of strife. But if you wanted to try to persuade the parents, hey, stop lying to your kids. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that, and here's the reasons why. At least then you wouldn't be outing Santa Claus right there in front of the kids.
Right.
I mean, you can see these kids in that line. They're just kind of standing there wide-eyed, staring at this guy. And so I'm sure they were having a terrible day because of him. Hour number 2 is coming up. Take control. Free Talk Live.
A funny thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Modern advertisers have been trained to look for trackability in their advertising, and web search ads are great for that. They also help you get the consumer that's looking for products like yours in the moment. But they're expensive, and they do nothing to convince people to try your product segment in the first place. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. If you can use national exposure, Free Talk Live's on more than 150 stations, and we can help advertisers with little budgets and big ones. Send me an email, mark@freetalklive.com. It's mark@freetalklive.com.
You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com.
This is your Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Friday, gold is $3 higher at $1,132 per ounce. Silver is 3 cents lower at $15.81 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $902 US. We are taking pre-orders for 2017 U.S. Mint products. To reserve your 2017 Silver Eagles at the current low price, give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, December 24th, 2016. Silver is trading at $15.75 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,134 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $894. Antiwar.com reports a top commander among U.S. embedded forces in Iraq, Colonel Brett Sylvia, talked up considerable expansion of the U.S. embedding into Iraqi forces, saying they are trying to deepen the level of integration with the Iraqi military to cover forces that previously did not have any U.S. troops embedded with them. The exact number involved aren't clear, but the U.S. has some 6,000 ground troops in Iraq at any given time. Colonel Sylvia indicated that it would be less of a sense of having an embedded soldier in Iraqi groups and more about having an entire special operations team embedded into the Iraqi military. This likely reflects the lack of progress made in the past week in Mosul, where heavy fighting has seen soaring casualties among Iraqi special forces, but no territory has changed hands. Previous U.S. officials have sought to downplay that as part of a refit, but it's clear changes are being made. Sylvia described this as a natural progression of the U.S. mission in Iraq, which other officials have indicated has become virtually permanent, with suggestions that the U.S. is going to keep troops in Iraq long after the war against the Islamic State to ensure that new Islamic states don't crop up. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Tennessee police released surveillance video of a naughty Santa acting nice by handing out candy canes at a bank he robbed only moments later. The Memphis Police Department said in a Facebook post the man, clad in a burgundy sweater and a Santa Claus mask covering his face, walked into the Memphis City Employees Credit Union about 10 a.m. on Wednesday and handed out candy canes to customers and employees, wishing them a Merry Christmas. The Santa then approached a teller and handed her a note demanding cash from her drawer. The surveillance video shows Santa having successfully obtained the money remove his mask outside of the bank with his back to the camera. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. Reuters reports a Singaporean blogger who has stirred controversy in his home country is being detained by U.S. immigration officials, according to the Department of Homeland Security. 18-year-old Amos Yee, who was jailed earlier this year in the Southeast Asian city-state, was stopped by customs agents at Chicago O'Hare International Airport on December 16th as he sought political asylum in the United States, according to his mother. Yee's mother, Mary To, said in a statement posted on Facebook on Friday evening, Amos is being detained in the U.S. right now. He is seeking political asylum in the U.S. The matter is now with his lawyer. I will not be speaking to the press or anyone on the matter. Yee has been jailed twice in Singapore for online comments. His trials, which have been closely watched by rights groups and the United Nations, have fueled the debate in Singapore over censorship and the limits of free speech. Yee is in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement pending federal immigration court proceedings, according to a spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security. The spokeswoman for DHS, Gail Montenegro, declined to provide further details of why Yee was detained, where he was being held, or if he had any legal representation. U.S. Customs and Border Protection spokesman Ralph Piccirilli also said the agency had encountered Yee but declined further comment. The Singapore embassy in Washington did not immediately respond to her request for comment. In September, Yee pled guilty to 6 charges of deliberately posting comments on the internet in videos, blogs, and a picture that were critical of both Christianity and Islam. He was sentenced to 6 weeks in jail. Last year, Yee was convicted on charges of harassment and insulting a religious group over comments he made about former Premier Lee Kuan Yew and Christians soon after Lee's death. His sentence at that time amounted to 4 weeks in jail. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A report by Stanford University researchers released Thursday found that Americans spend 90% of their waking hours staring at glowing rectangles. Researchers identified more than 30 varieties of iridescent rectangles, ranging from personal and work rectangles to rectangles that heat food and those that can fit right in one's pocket.
From the moment Americans wake up, they are captivated by these bright, pulsing rectangles. In fact, if you look at the data, it's hard to find a single minute when the public isn't captivated by these. Excuse me. I'm sorry, where were we?
In local news, a run-over squirrel is remembered as frantic and indecisive. And in other news, a trail of rose petals leads a wife to a sink full of dishes. Prince Fielder reports to spring training exactly the right amount overweight, and a local yard sale reeks of divorce. If you don't hear the sound of my voice the same time next week, alert my family and then visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program, the live edition of not just Saturday night, because we're normally live on Saturday nights, but the Christmas Eve edition of the show. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
Of course, we'll take your calls about whatever happens to be on your mind. In the first hour of the show, we played some audio of a Texas pastor, evangelical, self-described evangelical Christian, who decided that he was going to go and ruin some kids' Christmas by going to a mall in Amarillo, Texas, where he then proceeded to shout about how that it's actually Jesus is the reason for the season and Santa Claus is just a myth. He's a lie being told to you by your parents. Shame on you, parents, blah, blah, blah. And just, ruining some kids' Christmas in the name of the Holy Spirit.
Now, I'm wondering if this guy also goes to the mall around Easter time. Does he go to the mall and yell that Cupid's not real? Like, how many other holidays where there's some kind of, cartoony figure, does this guy go to the mall and, yell at people and say that, this person doesn't exist? Cupid's not real, people.
That's an excellent question.
The Easter Bunny's not real. He doesn't lay eggs.
You could try to see if he's got a YouTube channel, because the video I played actually wasn't from his channel. It was copied by some other media source here. Let me see if I can pull up what they call themselves. Shinigama is the YouTube channel that features this. It actually is a relatively small YouTube channel. They only have 1,000 subscribers, but this video blew up. It got nearly 600,000 views in just the last couple of weeks alone. So presumably they found wherever the original video is and then copied it to their channel. And then somebody, I think, then copyrighted that particular video, not likely Pastor Dave Grisham in this case, because as we were streaming to Facebook during the last segment of the show, Facebook just decided they were going to pull our live feed because supposedly the content that we were streaming matched some sort of copyrighted content by some viral something or other company. I forget what it was called, but I'm sorry. I don't think whatever Viral Nova or whatever it was.
Viral Upload or
something like that.
Something weird.
So, I'm sorry, but this is not. Look, Pastor Dave Grisham was the guy who made this video, and he clearly made it so people would see it. I don't believe that Viral Egg or whatever they were called is the actual copyright holder of this, but Facebook doesn't know, and there's no way to actually challenge this in any meaningful way. So our live feed got stopped because of it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just as an aside. But I guess if you wanted to know more about Pastor Dave Grisham, now we know his name, so we could probably look him up and see if he's done any other shenanigans like this in the past. Now, you're welcome to comment on the story. We played the audio in the last hour. So, again, still, open phones here on Free Talk Live. You can always bring up anything. But you've got a related story, Darryl, about a poll that was done of Americans in 2016 regarding Santa and other Christmas-related questions.
Yes. Comes from Public Policy Polling, and they do some really interesting stuff. I actually wind up getting their emails. So whenever they come out with a new poll, I get the email of it. And, a lot of it's political. But this just sort of struck me as really odd. It's titled 2016 Made Us Lose Our Belief in Santa. And apparently they did a post-election holiday poll 4 years ago as well.
So wait, it was 2016 that made people lose their faith in Santa, not Pastor Dave?
That's the title of the article, yes. So 4 years ago, after the last presidential election, they polled Americans, and 52% of respondents 4 years ago said that they believed in Santa. 45% said they did not. This year...
Wait a minute. Are they polling children?
Adults.
52% of people last year...
4 years ago.
4 years ago. 52% of American adults believe in Santa Claus?
Yes. Now, that could mean that they believe in the spirit of Santa. Not like they believe there's actually a man that lives in the North Pole.
I guess we'd have to see the question itself, see how they structured that.
Well, give me a second and I can pull that up.
I know. You're going through this. It's cool.
But, again, a couple of weeks ago, they re-upped the question and found that belief in Santa had gone all the way down to 31%.
That's a huge drop.
Huge drop, with non-belief shooting up to 59%. And it's not just Democrats that are dispirited by the election results, having lost belief in Santa.
How does
Republicans have also lost belief in Santa. So they ask people their political affiliations as well.
Well, so are they going to try to draw some sort of parallels to how it is that the political system has some sort of influence on whether or not people believe in Santa Claus?
Well, Santa didn't give the Democrats what they want for Christmas, which was a Hillary presidency.
Okay.
So they're making a joke.
I see.
It's a very bad joke, but they're making a joke here. So
but they really did ask people if they believed in Santa. That's really what they asked people. Okay.
Yes.
I'm blown away by that.
Give me 2 seconds to actually pull up the wording of the question.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, to me, I can't even believe that. I mean, are these people taking the poll with their kids in the room? You know, are they on the speakerphone where the kid can hear the question, do you believe in Santa Claus? And then they feel like they have to say yes because the kids are right there? Or are there really people who are adults that still believe in Santa Claus? I mean, could there really be even 1/3 of Americans who believe in Santa Claus? I mean, that to me is just astonishing. And if you want to share your thoughts, you're welcome to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, we're talking about something that most kids figure out on their own,
right?
Whether it's due to, like our caller earlier said, he happened to go into his parents' room when he was a kid, and he found the drum set that Santa was going to give him that was hidden behind some sort of piece of furniture. You know, so that's one of the ways that young kids tend to find out about Santa is the parents will screw it up, and they'll make some mistake, or the kid will go into the parents' closet and they'll find the presents, and it'll already be gift wrap, and it'll say, to you from Santa.
Right.
I mean, so that's one of the giveaways. Sometimes maybe it's like a friend at school who lets them in on the secret or whatever. But usually by the age of, I would say, 10. Probably most American children have come across at least I thought, had come across the information that Santa Claus wasn't real. Are there really 1/3 to 1/2 of Americans who rejected that information when they came across it and still believe that Santa Claus is real? I want to hear from you.
Question number 11.
Hold on. I want to hear if there's actually somebody out there who believes in Santa Claus. I just can't even believe that's true. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. All right.
Question number 11. So they ask a bunch of holiday-related questions, and we'll go over those.
We're going to get into them, yeah.
But question number 11, do you believe in Santa Claus or not?
Wow.
And again, it could be that people believe in the spirit of Santa, or...
That's not what they asked.
They didn't say, do you believe there's a fat guy that wears a red suit that lives at the North Pole that flies around the world? They said, do you believe in Santa? And that
do you believe in a fictional character? Do you believe in Batman?
That could mean a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So, yes, I believe that there are movies and comic books that exist that have Batman as a character.
I get what you're saying, but on its face, that question is, do you believe in the existence of a fictional character? That is what that question is. And it's shocking to me. Let's go to Dave. He's in New Mexico listening to Kiva in Albuquerque. Hey, Dave.
Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Welcome. You're on the air live here on Free Talk Live's live Christmas Eve edition. Go ahead.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys actually doing something live on a Christmas Eve while everybody's got everything else.
Oh, we'll be live tomorrow night as well.
That's right. We're live on Christmas Day as well. So go ahead with your thoughts.
All right. The whole Santa thing. It was about 7 or 8 years old when I figured out that Santa was actually my parents.
Mm-hmm. How'd you figure it out?
And I was a mischievous child, and I looked places.
Okay, yeah, you found the
I
presents.
was the youngest of the group, and you ask for certain things, and they actually show up, and then stuff you didn't ask for shows up just because it was what was affordable, and that sort of thing. And it was more like, the spirit of Christmas. Every parent is basically Santa Claus.
Every parent is Santa Claus. Hold that thought, Dave. I think you're driving at something, so we're going to bring you back here, let you continue with your thoughts. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Are there actually adults who believe in Santa?
For P150, P150GA, P150NY, P150OK, P150TN, C250A, C250E, C250Q. Not available in all states. If New York or Colorado, call for a similar offer.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company, 1-800-656-4686. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. Call now for a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-656-4686. That's 1-800-656-4686. 1-800-656-4686.
Attention small business owners. Want to save money on your employee health insurance plan? Learn the little-known solution that could save thousands of dollars on your health insurance benefits and save your employees money, too. Call Health Markets for a free consultation, and one of our 3,000 local agents will show you how to make healthcare reform work for you. We'll design customized solutions for your business that can lower healthcare costs for you and your employees. We'll work directly with you to determine your needs. We search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide. You'll also find out if tax credits could save you money. Best of all, the service is free of charge. See why Health Markets has enrolled Americans in more than 2 million insurance policies. You don't have to wait for open enrollment to lower your cost. Call now. Find out how much you and your employees could be saving.
Representatives are standing by to assist you. Call 800-930-5137. That's 800-930-5137. 800-930-5137.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and it is the live Christmas Eve edition of the program. We're sharing some interesting statistics, and we've only just gotten started in this. There's a bunch more that you've got for us, Darryl, from the public policy polling group. And the first one was a shocker to me, suggesting that there are, or that at least last year, there were more than 50% of Americans.
4 years ago.
Sorry, I keep thinking last year. Anyway, 4 years ago, that more than 50% of Americans believe in Santa Claus. Now it's around 30-ish% of American adults who believe in Santa Claus. I'm shocked by it. You can share your thoughts here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Plus, Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, then check out freedomsphoenix.com, because they've got it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. As we go back to Dave in New Mexico, listening to Albuquerque's Kiva. Go ahead, Dave. You are back on. I wanted to make sure you had a chance to get your thoughts out.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes,
and once again, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you. Go ahead.
As I was alluding to, the spirit of Christmas, or Santa Claus, as a small child, I finally figured out that Santa wasn't real. And it was one of those things, you're snooping around Mom and Dad's room and that, and then you find this stuff, it's all wrapped up and ready to go.
Yep.
And there was that one point where I said, "Thank you, Mom, thank you, Dad," and I got the look of death. "No, you thank Santa." "Oh, okay, thank you, Santa." And what that ended up instilling in me was the idea that Christmas is... Well, my mother was a devout Catholic, and she used to be a nun, and of course, and then she got married. And the whole thing of going to Mass in the evening on Christmas Eve and all that stuff, yeah, Jesus is the reason for the season and that, and historically we have found out that eventually, okay, it was about June that he was actually born. Okay, why are we doing December 25th? That's because it's near the winter solstice, and that was a pagan holiday.
Right. They wanted to attract the pagans to their new religion, right?
It was actually when Constantine decreed that everybody in the empire had to convert to Christianity.
Oh, really?
And so the church started Christianizing pagan holidays.
Exactly.
It was in the early 300s.
Yeah, I think they call it either Samhain or Beltane in the pagan calendar these days, but it is one of those things that lifts the spirits of people during the darkest time of the year, because it is, quite literally,
the darkest time of the year. Yeah, that's a good point. Dave, thanks for sharing your call and thoughts with us here. I appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. More from the survey here of, I don't know how many, 1,000 people? Do you know?
Give me just a second and I can tell you.
I know. I surprised you with that. I appreciate you digging up that
1,224 people who are registered voters were polled on December 6th and 7th.
Ah, okay. So registered voters. Got it. So we're not actually polling the full spectrum of Americans here. These are the people who are participants in the political process, people who are likely to believe in fanciful stories.
Sure. Well, me and you also, are registered voters.
Sure, but we're libertarians.
Right, and there were some libertarians that were included in this survey.
No, they weren't. They were Gary Johnson voters who were included in the survey. We don't know if they actually polled any real libertarians here.
Okay, touche.
All right. So
now,
what else you got?
While a majority of Republicans may not believe in Santa, there's one thing that they do know. He's a white guy. Republican voters nationally, by a margin of 54 to 6%, said that Santa is white. 41% said they don't know.
They didn't know. All right.
57.
Now that's an honest answer.
Yes. 57% of Democrats had no opinion about the ethnicity of the big guy, but they were divided over whether or not he's white. 26% of Democrats saying he is, 18% saying he's not.
Well, if he's actually from the North Pole, he's more likely to be brown, right? Because there's Eskimo types up there.
Well, there's also the Scandinavians that live in the way far north, and
okay.
they're as white as we are.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, like I said, best answer, I don't know.
Americans are also pretty confident that they're on Santa's nice list, with 70% believing that they've earned that distinction, compared to 8% who are honest and say that they're probably on the naughty list. Now, because they do break this down by how people voted. Give me 1 second and I will tell you how many people that voted for each political candidate think they're on the naughty list and the nice list.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, there's coming up in this poll the age-old question as to whether or not Happy Holidays is offensive.
Yes.
And
so
that I definitely want to hear.
Again, the national average was 70% that said they're on the naughty list or
the
on
nice
the nice list. And that's true of both Hillary and Donald voters.
Okay.
Those who voted for Jill Stein, only 64% said that they're on the nice list. 3% said they're on the naughty list. 74% of Gary Johnson supporters say that they're on the nice list. 26% said they're not sure.
Right.
So no Gary Johnson voter that was surveyed here said that they personally
We're
are
on the naughty list.
The naughty list. Whereas 10% of Hillary supporters, 8% of Donald supporters, and 3% of Jill Stein supporters said that they're probably on that naughty list.
More from the survey here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. Sarah in Albuquerque, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah. Sarah, are you on the nice list or the naughty list?
Well, I think I'm a pretty good person, and but I want to talk about the.
So wait, you didn't answer the question.
She never answers the question.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be Free Talk Live.
I know. I asked you. I was just having a little fun with you. I mean, you're going to get to talk about what you want.
What about Donald Trump? Is he on the naughty list or the nice list?
Well, you know what? It depends on who's looking at. I think
That's a
he's
good
on
answer.
a naughty list.
That's a good answer. She's right about that.
Well, he thinks he's on a good list. But that's it's a matter of perception.
I think the question was specifically regarding Santa Claus. So, what would Santa Claus say about Donald Trump? Would he get coal in his stocking, or would he get a new toupee?
Listen, he needs to turn communist and give up his $45 million and turn it over to the state and make what everybody else makes.
$45 million?
And the same thing goes.
That seems like small change for somebody like Trump. Did you say million or billion?
No, he's worth $45 billion.
Okay.
And
I don't know if that's true, but it sounds more believable in the billions rather than the millions.
Yeah, the billions. Yeah. See, he's not going to give up all that much money.
All right, so you were calling for a reason. We'll get you to that here in a moment. Hang on, Sarah. You still never answered the question about yourself. Would you, Sarah, be on the naughty list or the nice list? Specifically, Santa Claus's naughty list.
Maybe she doesn't want us to know.
Yeah. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can join us. Take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live.
Attention citizens, this man has received national attention for accurately predicting every major financial trend, including the market crash of 2008. His name is Harry Dent, and in his newly released book, he is making even bigger and bolder predictions that have the potential to devastate the world economy and your personal wealth. You can get a free copy of Harry Dent's bestseller, The Sale of a Lifetime, containing never-before published information by simply visiting www.saleofalifetime.com/free book. Again, that's saleofalifetime.com/free book.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
Are you making sense to the
boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
You know, you got to give those guys credit, though. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, they've established this for themselves. And who are the Hispanic leaders? Who are the Chinese leaders? It's a brilliant marketing plan on their part to get them radio interviews and all kinds of appearances and sell books for them. But otherwise, that's really all it is for them.
Right, and then when you call them out, exactly what you said. If you are a black person, you are supposed to get upset when they tell you to get upset. Me and a lot of other people who are black, we've grown up. I'm 55 going on 56. I don't see color. I see people. I see behavior. I see morals. I see values. I don't see the color of a person's skin. That does not dictate how I should interact with that person. Their behavior, their morals and values dictate how I interact with them.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It is the live Christmas Eve edition of the show. By the way, we will be here on Christmas Day as well. Now, if you aren't fortunate enough to get Free Talk Live 7 nights a week where you live, you can always call and talk to the program director at your local talk radio station and tell him or her that you'd like to hear more Free Talk Live. If you get some,
ask them very nicely.
Yep. Or if you get no Free Talk Live, then you can ask them nicely to air some of the show. Again, we do up to 21 hours per week that radio stations can take. And we'd love to have more of them on board with us. That would be a good gift that you could give to Free Talk Live, is you just taking a few minutes and contacting your local radio station. Now, if you are not yet into Bitcoin, or maybe you're old hat, maybe you've been around the Bitcoin scene for a while, we've got an official wallet here on Free Talk Live. It is Jaxx. JAXX.io is where you can go to get it. It's a cross-platform wallet. Now, what that means, is one of the things that really makes Jaxx special, is that you can have access to your Bitcoin on your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop computer, your desktop computer, Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS, browser plugins. They've got all of those options for you over at Jaxx.io. Of course, you can just go into your Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and you can download it for your phone there or your tablet. So go to Jaxx.io to learn more about it. It was created by Anthony D'Orio, who is the creator of CryptoKit. He's a Free Talk Live listener as well. And he made it easy to back up your wallet, so in case something terrible happens to your phone, you don't have to worry if you've got the backup phrase stored in, like your safe or someplace that people can't get easy access to it because, well, if you were to give somebody else your backup code, then they would have access to all your Bitcoin. So it's super easy to use, and there's even Shapeshift integration right there, which allows for easy exchange between cryptocurrencies. Jax is striving to give you command over your digital life, including coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. That's their vision for the future. Your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jax, the official wallet of Free Talk Live at jaxx.io. We've got Sarah in Albuquerque. So, Sarah, what were you calling about tonight since you didn't want to tell us whether or not you thought Santa Claus has you on the naughty or nice list?
Well, I think I'm on the good list.
You are on the good list.
Because
okay.
I want to say that New Mexico, we fought off a pipeline. They were trying to put another pipeline in our state. I forgot exactly where. I heard it real quick. There was a battle, and we fought them off. And I want the people. The
now,
world
are you
to know
against
that
pipelines in general? Are you just like anti-pipeline? Because to me, the problem with the pipeline is when the government uses the threat of violence to steal people's land. If a company wants to build a pipeline and they get permission from the landowners, they pay the landowners, they ask them if they can use the property and get an agreement and a contract, then I don't have any objection to it. Are you against all pipelines?
Well, the thing about it is that New Mexico is a clean, green energy state since 1880. We have been fighting off rubber companies, tire companies, fracking, everything that has to do with dirty energy for the last 100 years. We don't want any more pipelines because we got enough pipelines. So, and we were
how do you know? Wait a minute. How do you know how many pipelines is enough? You're not in the pipeline business. You're not in the energy business. You're just somebody with an opinion.
Right, but that's my opinion. And you know what? The Democrats.
It's backed by nothing, though. Your opinion is backed by nothing except your feelings. You don't have any statistics. You don't have any information.
Well, you know what? Well, the information is that I don't like petroleum oil because it's dirty energy. I rather, and then I really don't like.
How about nuclear?
Capitalists.
How about nuclear energy?
Oh, I dislike that also. And plus, the fact that Exxon and Mobil is a capitalist entity. And it's a private entity. They get to make $500 billion and hoard it for themselves. Okay,
generally, it's not very good policy to hoard money for yourself. It makes more sense to loan it out, to give it to a bank so they can loan it or something like that. Invest it
back into the company.
Yeah.
Now, I will agree partially with you here that ExxonMobil. Now, I'm not going to say that they're a capitalist company per se, unless by capitalist you mean Marx's definition of a regulated economy where the means of production are privately held. But ExxonMobil and actually all of the oil companies wind up getting a lot of benefits from government. Their liabilities are limited greatly. So I forget which oil company it was that has the pipeline running through Alabama where it exploded and wound up doing a bunch of damage. And, well, the oil company doesn't have to pay for all of that cleanup.
The taxpayers are going to foot some of the bill, right?
When the Deep Horizon thing wound up blowing up 6 years ago, the federal government said, BP, you only have to pay like $170 million.
I thought it was capped at 75.
Okay, maybe it's 70.
I don't remember.
I know it's somewhere, in that 100 million.
It was a fraction
range,
of what the cleanup actually cost.
Wound up costing $1 billion for cleanup. And that cap came in after the Exxon Valdez accident back in the 90s, where the tanker went down off of the coast of Alaska. And Exxon went and begged the federal government, please don't make us be fully responsible for when we have accidents like this.
And they said, okay. Thanks for the call, Sarah. Appreciate it. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, because the Exxon people, grease their palms.
If anything, that's a form of socialism to where, the losses are
socialized
across the board, and the profits are then, held by whoever owns the company.
So Exxon keeps the profits, and their losses are hit to the taxpayers.
So it's nowhere even even remotely close to being a free market company.
Let's continue with your calls and thoughts here. You can bring up what you want. Rich is on the line in South Carolina, listening in Columbia to WQXL. Hey, Rich.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Welcome. You're on the air.
Yeah, first of all, I think Sarah's definitely on Santa's naughty list.
Why is that?
Well, I've heard her before, and if anybody deserves to be on the naughty list, it's got to be her.
All right, fair enough. Well, go ahead with what you were actually calling about.
Well, actually, I'm calling about Santa Claus. I've actually met the guy. He does exist.
Really? Tell me more.
Yeah. Well, my brother-in-law used to work for him. He's a little midget, and he passed himself off as an elf, and he was up in the North Pole for 10 years working for Santa Claus.
Huh.
Yeah.
And so you actually met Santa Claus, is what you're saying?
Yeah, all the elves get to invite relatives to the annual Santa Claus party, and I was up there.
I bet you that is like the best Christmas party, right? Like that's the one everybody wants to be at, is Santa Claus's Christmas party.
Yeah, and it's after, it's like December 26th, it's the day after because everybody's unwinding. But it's amazing that you wouldn't believe some of the stories. Santa Claus is actually a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was actually curious to know who gets the drunkest at the Santa Claus party. Is it Santa Claus himself, his right-hand elf, Mrs. Claus? And then does Mrs. Claus end up fooling around with one of the elves, and then the closet?
So what's the population like as far as the demographics of men versus women at the Santa Claus Christmas party? Like, how many of the elves are women?
There are no women. The only woman up there is Mrs. Claus.
Right.
She's the only one. It's like a 500 guys and one woman.
That's a sausage party.
So is it kind of like a beehive to where, like most of the bees wind up getting to mate with Mrs. Claus and that's where the other elves come from? Or is it more like, they're drones and they don't get to reproduce?
Well, a lot of women tried to work for Santa and women elves, but, he's just, he's a misogynist. He won't have anything to do with women elves. In fact, my brother-in-law, he was fired. He tried to organize an elf union up there, and Santa is just so violently anti-union. The guy, he's no longer, my brother-in-law's on welfare now. He can't even get a job anywhere.
So which union were they going to wind up getting together with? The Teamsters?
Yeah, it was half of them were Teamsters. The other were manufacturer assistant types. I forgot what they call the union. It's
great call.
Electricians.
Great
Some of them
call.
were electricians.
Rich, thank you, man.
Yep.
Very creative.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Or maybe he really believes that. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733 because apparently like a third to half of American voters believe in Santa Claus. Free Talk Live.
Thanks for calling Somabiotics. Are you calling for a free trial of our belly flattening breakthrough?
Actually, I already got the free trial. It totally flattened my belly.
Wow, that's great news.
But now I have a problem I never thought I'd have. My belly just keeps getting flatter. I mean, I don't want to look like a runway model, but I don't want to stop taking Somabiotics either. Because seriously, I've never looked this good.
Well, here's one thing you can do. Only take Somabiotics every other day. That'll keep up your results without making your belly too flat. And if you ever need to ramp up your belly flattening results again, just go back to taking it every day.
To get your free trial of Somabiotics, call 1-800-961-5687. You're going to love how you look. And if your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. But hurry and call now for details while they're still giving it away for free. Call 1-800-961-5687. That's 1-800-961-5687. 1-800-961-5687.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-615-7709. That's 800-615-7709. 800-615-7709.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to their rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually.
Whoa, hey. Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this hospital.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. We're here live on the Saturday edition of the program, and it's also the Christmas Eve edition. That's right. It's Ian with you.
And Darryl.
We've got Skype. You can Skype right into the show. Sound great if you do. Skype username is LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Feel free to connect with us in that way if you like. Also, you can join us toll-free. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we're going to continue with your calls and thoughts. We're talking about all kinds of things Christmas-related. Santa Claus, some Americans apparently believe that he's real. A shocking number, at least shocked me. It was 4 years ago, it was more than 50% of American voters who said they believe in Santa Claus. Now it's lower than that,
yes.
Significantly lower.
31%.
Right, so nearly a third of Americans, though, who are voters believe in Santa Claus. Still, I find that to be a shocking statistic.
But again, I'm not necessarily surprised by this, because I honestly think that a lot of these people are believing that the spirit of Santa exists.
But that wasn't the question.
The question did not say, do you believe there's a fat guy that wears a red suit that lives at the North Pole?
It said, do you believe in Santa Claus? That's who Santa Claus is.
Right, but there's also, the spirit of Santa. There's a guy sitting at the mall dressed as Santa Claus.
Well, I'm telling you, man, if they wanted to ask about the spirit, they would have asked about the spirit of Santa Claus. They were talking about the fat man from the North Pole. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Now, whether anybody will call in to admit that they believe in Santa Claus, we actually did have a guy earlier who claimed he actually met Santa Claus and had traveled to the North Pole to attend a Christmas party thrown by the Clauses and their sort of indentured servants or whatever they are, the elves. Let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. Nancy is in Eureka, California, listening to KGOE. Hello, Nancy.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
There's no way to prove that there isn't a Santa Claus.
Well, that's generally a true statement, but it's usually incumbent upon the person making the claim to prove that the thing does exist. So if someone says there is a Santa Claus and someone says, well, prove it, then that person it's incumbent upon them to go ahead and find the evidence or put forth whatever evidence it is that they have, which of course they can't likely do.
It took them, 500 years to prove that there was a Northwest Passage. They haven't even started looking for a workshop yet.
Well, maybe there's somebody who's been scouring satellite photos of the North Pole. We don't know that, but certainly no one has found anything if they are looking.
Well, the mere fact that they've been looking for the Northwest Passage from back in the 1500s.
Now, what is the Northwest Passage?
That's the passage that goes by sea from the Bering Sea into Hudson's Bay and across, so that you can get across the Northwest.
You talking about between Alaska and Russia?
No, from like Greenland to Russia going north of Canada.
Oh.
When you go north of Canada and go, all the way out to the Atlantic Ocean.
I see.
From the Pacific to the Atlantic.
Ah, okay.
Or
Gotcha.
back the other way, of course.
Thanks for clarifying that for me, Nancy. So anything else you want to share with us tonight?
No, it just seems that, if they took that long to find
the Northwest Passage. I get where you're coming from. Now, are you saying that you're one of the believers in Santa Claus? Is this a roundabout way of saying that you believe that Santa Claus exists?
Well, I'm not sure if he exists or not, but I don't think anybody has seriously looked for him.
All right, fair enough. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I will agree with that last thing that she said. I don't think anybody's spent serious time looking for him, but people have spent serious time looking for Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
That's true. Maybe they need to have Santa Claus hunters. Let's go to David in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, David.
Hey, I'm not familiar with Amarillo or Amarillo. Is that anywhere near Amarillo?
Yeah, well,
it's the same place.
Same place. I'm pronouncing it with a Spanish pronunciation.
Ah, I see. I just wanted to clarify that. I haven't been to Amarillo, but I have been to Amarillo.
That's funny. Go ahead.
Anyway, let me be a buzzkill. So this is Christmas 2016, and my children were last seen by me on a Christmas in 2006, and that's something that was against my will. The government is somehow involved. Kind of seems to be a common theme, things happening to people against their will, and with the government being involved, and also done not even lawfully, meaning if you took the facts of the case, if you actually took the court documents themselves and read them yourselves, you would agree, and I got $1,000 that to bet that says that a person would agree with me. And so let's just assume for a second that since you can't look at the documents right now, that my story is true and that the facts support my side, and the children disappeared illegally and they've been gone for 10 Christmases.
Yeah.
And that's life in America. And I wanted to just be the buzzkill and let everybody out there listening, especially in New Mexico, listening here on Kiva, where they have power to influence their legislators, like I've tried to do for 5 legislative sessions in a row now. I don't think I told you, Darryl, you might be interested. For the last 5 years, remember, let me preface that. Remember, I bragged you one time that when you didn't quite believe me, that you would have a hard time finding a politician in the state that if you said the name David to them, they wouldn't know exactly who you were talking about right away. And that's because I spent 5 years lobbying full-time, 30 and 60-day sessions alternating, 31 years, 60 the next year, for five years in a row. And for this kind of thing, to get their laws changed here in New Mexico so that
how'd that work out
the government stops. Well, good, positive, and negative. The obvious is that if everybody's experience with lobbying is they might hear your message, but getting an actual concrete change or action taken on your message, even if it's a really great one, unless it supports their previously existing agenda, unless it helps them out, they're not going to spend a lot of time with you helping you to get it done. You pretty much need to be the hammer, and if you got something, then you need to pretty much write it up and show it to them, and then show them how that they can't really afford to ignore you, because if they ignore you, you're going to show everybody else in the state, how much of a jerk you really are, because here's some obvious stuff that shouldn't be happening, and here's a way to make it stop happening. And
I mean, there have been people who have been abused over and over again by these, this system, not just in New Mexico, but all across the United States and probably beyond that. The family law system, and I know there's a lot of fathers' rights groups out there that have been trying to change the system, and I don't know if they've had much success.
They've had some success, and that's part of. I guess you asked me that question too. How have I? The positive of what I've done is probably I've already said it. The most succinct way to say that is you would have a hard time finding a damn politician in this state that doesn't know who I am and what I've had to say, and when they hear my voice on the radio, not letting this drop, they actually stop what they're doing and listening. Isn't that true, politicians in New Mexico?
Well, that's a nice thing
to
believe, but if it doesn't result in anything that changes, then it's just a
I'm
belief system.
I'm the tip of the spear. There's not been. The problem is that there's so few of us, because if you look at it, if my children are illegally disappeared, people feel sorry for me, but they don't. But it's really hard to get them to even make a phone call for me.
Oh, I know what that's like.
But if their child disappeared, it would be a whole different story,
they want
right?
everybody's help. Yep, that's true. David, thanks for the call tonight. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Yeah, most people, until the government screws them over, they don't care.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why libertarians are converging in New Hampshire, because we're tired of being ineffective. We're tired of, I'm speaking for the people that agree with me. Libertarians are sick and tired of being, on the outs and not paid attention to and not making a difference. So let's gather together in the same geographic area and have our voices be heard for the first time. And it's actually working. You can learn more about that at ShireSociety.com. More Free Talk Live coming up. Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over the phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, December 24th, 2016. Silver is trading at $15.75 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,134 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $894. Antiwar.com reports a top commander among U.S. embedded forces in Iraq, Colonel Brett Sylvia, talked up considerable expansion of the U.S. embedding into Iraqi forces, saying they are trying to deepen the level of integration with the Iraqi military to cover forces that previously did not have any U.S. troops embedded with them. The exact number involved aren't clear, but the U.S. has some 6,000 ground troops in Iraq at any given time. Colonel Sylvia indicated that it would be less of a sense of having an embedded soldier in Iraqi groups and more about having an entire special operations team embedded into the Iraqi military. This likely reflects the lack of progress made in the past week in Mosul, where heavy fighting has seen soaring casualties among Iraqi special forces, but no territory has changed hands. Previous U.S. officials have sought to downplay that as part of a refit, but it's clear changes are being made. Sylvia described this as a natural progression of the U.S. mission in Iraq, which other officials have indicated has become virtually permanent, with suggestions that the U.S. is going to keep troops in Iraq long after the war against the Islamic State to ensure that new Islamic states don't crop up. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Tennessee police released surveillance video of a naughty Santa acting nice by handing out candy canes at a bank he robbed only moments later. The Memphis Police Department said in a Facebook post the man, clad in a burgundy sweater and a Santa Claus mask covering his face, walked into the Memphis City Employees Credit Union about 10 a.m. on Wednesday and handed out candy canes to customers and employees, wishing them a Merry Christmas. The Santa then approached a teller and handed her a note demanding cash from her drawer. The surveillance video shows Santa having successfully obtained the money remove his mask outside of the bank with his back to the camera. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. Reuters reports a Singaporean blogger who has stirred controversy in his home country is being detained by U.S. immigration officials, according to the Department of Homeland Security. 18-year-old Amos Yee, who was jailed earlier this year in the Southeast Asian city-state, was stopped by customs agents at Chicago O'Hare International Airport on December 16th as he sought political asylum in the United States, according to his mother. Yee's mother, Mary Toe, said in a statement posted on Facebook on Friday evening, Amos is being detained in the U.S. right now. He is seeking political asylum in the U.S. The matter is now with his lawyer. I will not be speaking to the press or anyone on the matter. Yee has been jailed twice in Singapore for online comments. His trials, which have been closely watched by rights groups and the United Nations, have fueled the debate in Singapore over censorship and the limits of free speech. Yee is in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement pending federal immigration court proceedings, according to a spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security. The spokeswoman for DHS, Gail Montenegro, declined to provide further details of why Yee was detained, where he was being held, or if he had any legal representation. U.S. Customs and Border Protection spokesman Ralph Piccirilli also said the agency had encountered Yee but declined further comment. The Singapore embassy in Washington did not immediately respond to a request for comment. In September, Yee pled guilty to 6 charges of deliberately posting comments on the internet in videos, blogs, and a picture that were critical of both Christianity and Islam. He was sentenced to 6 weeks in jail. Last year, Yee was convicted on charges of harassment and insulting a religious group over comments he made about former Premier Lee Kuan Yew and Christians soon after Lee's death. His sentence at that time amounted to 4 weeks in jail. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
I was doing my regular 11 o'clock security sweep around the perimeter of my house when I noticed a couple of young people having intercourse in the front seat of a car out in the street. So I ran inside and I grabbed my video camera. As you can imagine, I stood in those bushes for over 20 minutes watching these two degenerates grind against each other, and I'm thinking, this behavior is simply unacceptable. Now, if you think this is an isolated incident, you are dead to rights wrong. I have 36 hours of footage to prove it that I have personally collected from sickos just around my own town. For example, I saw perverts having sex in swimming pools clearly visible from the roofs of adjacent buildings, on boats that anybody could see with a telescope, at night on the beaches where they can easily be watched by anyone hiding behind a fence wearing their night vision goggles. It's simply disgusting.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, Christmas Eve edition of the program. We invite you to join us here. If you'd like, you can talk about anything that happens to be on your mind, although the topics tonight have been pretty holiday related. We talked about one pastor who decided he was going to go ruin some kids' Christmas by exposing them to the information that Santa Claus is not real, as he shouted at them as they waited in line to go and meet Santa Claus in their local mall in Amarillo, Texas. So, yeah, we talked about that story. You're welcome to comment on that or anything that happens to be on your mind. We just barely scratched the surface of an interesting survey by Public Policy Polling that, Darryl, you brought in tonight.
Yes.
About Americans and their opinions on Christmassy-related stuff.
Not
and whether
just
they
Christmas,
believe in Santa Claus.
but a bunch of holidays, actually.
So we'll get into deeper into that here, but to your phone calls and thoughts first, where Mike is in Ohio, watching us on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Ian. And I'm a little behind on YouTube. I started it late, so I'm not up to date. While I was waiting on the phone line, I was reminded of the government tyranny as I heard that some representatives from Vermont and Idaho are trying to get the Food Administration to label any milk that actually doesn't come from a cow with a special annotation, not to call it milk. So like almond milk, things of this nature. And if you've actually studied that, you see that like the milk made here in America, how they do it is actually pretty unhealthy. That like almond milk's actually a lot better for you. And even raw milk is better than kind of what it's made here. The protein in the milk and also how they pasteurize it, that it's really not that great for you. But yet, the government feels as if they have to, control everything. But in regards to that guy that stood up earlier at that place and did that,
the pastor at the mall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm from the South originally, and I think you guys are, but anybody that kind of was raised in a very traditional, conservative kind of Christian upbringing, that's a very realistic worldview a lot of those folks share. And now you could argue that Santa Claus and kind of what his ideology is are both kind of alike, and that they're both kind of fairy tale-ish and all that kind of stuff. But the thing about it is, underlying in all that, I think, is like this weird thing to kind of control people. It's like it's like you're not living your life the way I want you to, so I want you to understand my beliefs or thoughts.
Hold on, just to clarify, are you saying Santa Claus is a way to control people?
No, I'm sorry for not communicating effectively. The mentality behind someone to want to stand up and say something like that is...
He's talking about the preacher that went into the mall.
So the preacher, that kind of mindset is a real thing, and it's not maybe as much anymore, but anybody that grew up down south, and there's a lot of probably good things that come from the Christian church too, but that kind of mindset is kind of rooted in those folks, like you said, in Amarillo, Texas. And
what is the mindset that's rooted? I'm not clear on what you're saying.
it's this weird control thing. That,
let me see if I can reword what you're saying and tell me if I'm understanding correctly, and hopefully Ian understands what you're trying to say. The guy that walked into the mall and started telling everybody you're living your life wrong by telling your kids that there's a Santa, that guy would probably be completely okay if the government were enforcing his beliefs on other people.
Yes, and the whole God thing is almost a way is almost a way to be subservient to something, to have control over something. You're controlling kind of the manner in which society is organized. And like I said, it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that way. But when I hear stuff like that, because I'm not real religious anymore, it reminds me so much of my upbringing. And like I said, it's not like it's all bad. It's not like 100% bad. It's like there's good people, but it's just it's fixed in that. And I actually am from the South, and I grew up in that, and I just feel it. I can feel that in that. And,
well, there's no doubt that, I mean, a lot of the history of organized religion is men who want to control other people. I mean, that's ultimately where a lot of this stuff really stems from. So I think you're right about that. Although I don't know if it's anything that's specific to the South. I mean, when I first saw this video, I actually thought it was Pastor Dave Berman who was in the video, and that is somebody that we've had some experience with up here in Keene, New Hampshire, who got out into the streets and got up into the faces of some of the Robin Hooders here, people who were heroically saving people from getting parking tickets in downtown Keene. This guy took it as his personal mission to run interference against the Robin Hooders and was quite rude and very intimidating, literally getting up and a lot of times those of us who are activists and who use cameras for activism and holding government bureaucrats accountable get accused of shoving a camera in someone's face, even though we've never done that I've ever seen. This guy literally was up in the faces of the people who were holding cameras in the streets. So I looked at this dude. They look like they might be related. This Pastor Dave, they're both named Dave, and one of them's from the South in Texas, the other one's from the North. So I don't think the desire to control other human beings through religious processes is exclusive to the South.
No, you're right about that, and obviously it's around the globe. But when you kind of get away from that and you kind of reform yourself, you have to almost de-brainwash from what you're taught growing up, and it doesn't mean you have to be crazy or do any sort of weird anything. It just means that sort of scarcity mindset that there's something to be paranoid, there's always something to be feared, there's always something that shouldn't happen, doesn't really tap into our best self. And I think religion plays a part in that scarcity mindset. And again, it doesn't play all of it, and it's up to the individual. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
I love the show.
I appreciate the thoughts tonight. Thanks for sharing them with us. Let's continue here. James in Arizona, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and not Darryl, because he doesn't want to listen to your calls. Go ahead, James.
Like the so-called pastor you started off the show with, Darryl P.U. Perry is not a minister.
There's no point in talking about Darryl. He can't hear you. So go ahead with some other point.
You brought him up. Wait a second. You brought him up.
I'm just letting you know.
I just made a point that he's not a minister. Love is not his way. Smearing people is, because, again, he's not a minister.
Well, I got to disagree with you there. Thanks for the call tonight. I've absolutely seen that Darryl is a minister, and he is a very loving person who cares about other people and freedom and peace. So let's continue here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You, of course, can bring up anything that you want, whether it's the pastor outing Santa Claus to a group of children, or more on this survey that, or the poll from Public Policy Polling that you've been sharing. Let's move to a different question in that poll.
Right. So we did not get to how many people think that Donald Trump is on the nice list versus the naughty list. Remember, 70% of those surveyed said that they believe that they personally are on the nice list. Only 35% think that the Donald is, and 47% think that he's on the naughty list.
Okay.
And what about the whole Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays?
Yeah, this one I want to hear. What's the
Trump
question?
Trump voters get a whole lot more worked up about that than Clinton voters. Only 5% of those that voted for Hillary say that they are personally offended by the phrase Merry Christmas, compared to 19% who say that they're offended by Happy Holidays.
Okay, so hold on. So 19% of Hillary voters? No.
Donald voters.
19% of Donald Trump voters offended by the term Happy Holidays.
Yes.
5% offended by Merry Christmas.
5% of Hillary voters are offended by Merry Christmas.
That's why I was confused.
Let me jump in because they do break this down completely. 14% of Hillary voters prefer Happy Holidays. 23% prefer Merry Christmas.
Of Hillary voters?
Of Hillary voters. 4% of Trump voters prefer Happy Holidays. 69% prefer Merry Christmas. 7% of Hillary voters are offended by the term Happy Holidays. 5% are offended by the term Merry Christmas.
Are you offended by either one of those terms? Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And if you are offended, then why? 855-450-3733.
Is there a war on Christmas?
Indeed, and that's a good question. We'll get to that coming up here. You can share your thoughts. Free Talk Live.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5928. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5928. That's 1-800-959-5928. 1-800-959-5928.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-519-BACK.
For a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-519-BACK now to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-519-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Uncertainty has become the talking point when it comes to financial markets. One thing is becoming certain: safe haven assets. Hard assets are now becoming the choice of informed investors. The most recognized and valued hard asset is gold. The highest performing asset this year is gold. Trust gold to protect and grow your IRA or 401k. Central banks and billionaires are doing the same thing. Choose a more stable asset that has tremendous upside potential. As these uncertain times threaten the markets, your decision to reduce your exposure to these markets before further negative effects to your portfolio would be well timed. Call 1-800-GOLD-IRA to transfer your existing IRA into an actual physical gold and silver IRA. American Bullion is the pioneer of gold IRAs. They handle all the details for you. Call 1-800-GOLD-IRA to get prepared. Start protecting and growing your IRA and 401k before the next crash. American Bullion. 1-800-GOLD-IRA.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
This is your Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Friday, gold is $3 higher at $1,132 per ounce. Silver is 3 cents lower at $15.81 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $902 US. We are taking pre-orders for 2017 US Mint products. To reserve your 2017 Silver Eagles at the current low price, give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're here on Christmas Eve. That's right. It's Ian and Darryl in the studio with you tonight. You can join us via our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Perhaps it is on your list of New Year's resolutions to finally start a website for yourself. Maybe you're one of our radio affiliates that doesn't have a website. Actually, I think all of our stations have websites, but there's a surprising number of radio stations out there that don't have a website yet. If you've been waiting, if you've been on the fence, maybe you're just not sure about the technical aspects of it, because it can be a little intimidating. The folks over at HostGator make it easy. You go to hostgator.com/FTL. Not only will you save 50% off of their regular hosting prices, but you'll also learn that how great of a host that they are. They're one of the top hosting companies out there. They've got a 99.99% uptime rating as rated by Web Hosting Stuff, as well as 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support, a simple one-click easy installation for WordPress, and a very intuitive and user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation and the simplicity of use into your hands. You get the special offer for Free Talk Live listeners by going to hostgator.com/FTL. That's hostgator.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Ian and Darryl continuing with your calls and thoughts here. More from the very interesting poll so far. We'll talk about the so-called war on Christmas.
Yes.
Is there a question about that, too, coming up?
There is.
Okay.
There are actually two questions about the supposed war on Christmas.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in moments. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. Joseph in Mobile, listening to WAVH-FM. Hey, Joseph.
How you doing?
Welcome, and Merry Christmas. Go ahead. Or Happy Holidays. Don't want to offend. But apparently that offends. Apparently either one of them is going to offend somebody. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think what it is that the guy that's doing that in that mall, he may be led of the Lord to do that, but at the same time, when the Lord leads you to do certain things, sometimes, you're not going to get a lot of applause from different people. But the main thing I find is don't ever lose your sense of humor when you're called to do something, because some kids really, I've run into kids, I'm a chaplain, so a lot of kids get upset with their parents, as they get older, realize, well, I can't trust my parents because they told me a lie about Santa Claus. What else have they lied to me about?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. And it's maybe that's why he's there. Maybe he's one kid that, that keeps him from going off the deep end or something like that. Realize his parents were just doing what they thought was the best thing for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, as far as his sense of humor is concerned, he certainly doesn't have much of one in this video that we played earlier in the show. And I think you weren't suggesting that he did. You were suggesting that you shouldn't lose your sense of humor. And maybe if he had actually had a sense of humor, you wouldn't have been so shrill with people and so off-putting. Yeah,
because they tell you, you can attract more bees with honey than you can with lemon. And if he does it like that, he's in the right spirit. And there will be people that receive him without a lot of, anger and a lot of, stuff like that. Because there's a lot of ways to do something to get your point across.
Yeah, although I don't know if there's, even if you were trying to be funny about trying to tell kids that there is no Santa, you're still trying to, pee in the Cheerios, so to speak here. You're ruining their these kids' Christmas, basically. You're destroying the belief system that they've had. It's iconoclasm of the lowest order.
Yeah, it is, but, sometimes, like I said, as a chaplain, I run into different people that I talk about their past and, that, end up in drug addicted or whatever the case may be, and they don't trust their parents, they don't trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of them will tell you, it starts with, well, they lied to me about Santa Claus, so what else have they lied to me about?
That actually is what people have said? Wow. I guess I'm not so, I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you'd be shocked. I mean, it's funny because even when I'm interviewing people, I've learned, God has taught me, keep your sense of humor. I'm laughing to myself inside. I never laugh at them,
mm-hmm.
but I'm laughing. I'm like, oh, this is very interesting, but Afterwards, I don't laugh at them, but I laugh at myself from becoming depressed by what they're saying and, and where their life has gone,
Yeah, I'm the
So
same way.
learned-
I'll laugh at inappropriate things, sort of sometimes out loud, but frequently it's inside because it's just so ridiculous and sad at the same time. Joseph, anything else you want to share with our audience tonight?
No, other than I'd share this. Anytime you're called to do something, the number one thing is a weapon against depression, against anger, against all those kind of things, is your sense of humor. Don't ever lose that. If you have to lose that to do something, don't do it.
Good advice. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate it. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. All right, where are we at here?
War on Christmas.
Oh, they trot this out every year, some of these persecuted Christians who are acting like they're somehow in the minority, which is ridiculous.
34 and again, we didn't actually go over what the favorability rating of Christmas is. 91% of respondents have a favorable opinion of Christmas.
Okay.
So despite having a 91% favorability rating,
Right.
34% of Americans believe that there is a war on Christmas. I'm guessing because Starbucks doesn't say Jesus on their cups.
It's ridiculous. Look, these people, I mean, I'm not going to claim to know what war is. Thank goodness I've never had that experience. But if you're not being shot at or bombs are blowing up, it's not a war, people. This is not a war on Christmas. It's not a war on drugs either.
People are getting shot at on the war on drugs.
Well, that's true, but I guess the point I would make about the war on drugs is it's not two-sided. So, like, there's not actually a war over drugs. I guess it is a war on drugs.
Yes.
But, like, if the cartels wanted to fight back in this war, it would get a lot bloodier than it actually is. As far as the war on Christmas is concerned, somebody not putting a picture of Jesus on their Starbucks cup or in their holiday advertising campaign is not a war on Christmas. It's just trying to appeal to different interest groups, and that's why Happy Holidays is a thing with some businesses.
There's a bunch of holidays that happen in December.
There are, and of course, some of the more noteworthy ones would be the Jewish holidays.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Kwanzaa.
a bunch of them, right?
There's also Yule and Solstice and Saturnalia.
Sure. Yeah, so why not just encompass all of them at once and say Happy Holidays? I don't have any problem with it. I've found myself becoming more comfortable with Merry Christmas over the years because I was an atheist for a while and, was pushing back against the Christianity at that time. And I don't think I was offended by it, but I would have been more likely to say Happy Holidays than Merry Christmas. But now I don't care. It just, I'll say one or the other. Or if somebody says something to me first, then I'll just return it with whatever they said.
Return the greeting.
Yeah.
51% of respondents said that there is not a war on Christmas, and that's down. The number of Americans that think that there is a war is down from 3 years ago, the last time
good.
Public Policy Polling asked that question, when 41% said that there was a war on Christmas. Trump voters, however, overwhelmingly believe that there is one. 60% of people that voted for Trump say that they think there is a war on Christmas. 25% say that there is not. In fact, almost 1 in 4 voters for Donald Trump say that the war on Christmas concerns them more than a potential war with China. You heard that right.
Well, I mean, there isn't really that much of a potential for a war with China, right?
But whether or not there's much potential, an actual war with bombs and shooting and people dying should be more concerning than a mythical war on the Starbucks didn't put Jesus on my coffee cup.
The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. You can join us here. If you're one of those who believes there is a war on Christmas, please call and explain to us why you think that. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you looking to become more self-sufficient? Then you need to have your own energy source. The SolarArc EMP hardened generator is automatic, maintenance-free, and reduces your monthly electric bill. You can also take it off-grid when you go camping. Contact PortableSolarLLC.com or call for details at 972-575-8875 today. Portable Solar LLC gives you everything you need to start using solar energy in less than 1 hour. SolarArc EMP hardened solar generator energy insurance for your family or business. Call Portable Solar LLC today.
Don't know what contaminants are lurking in your water? Time to get a ProPure. Take advantage of ProPure's holiday sale. Save 25% on all ProPure water filter products. Sales good through December 31st. There's a ProPure water filter for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Christmas Eve edition of the program. You can join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. The us includes me, Ian.
And me, Darryl.
We've got Skype. For those of you who want to sound better than the average caller, just call us on Skype at username LRN.FM. We are there for you. And, of course, you can call in toll-free as well, 855-450-FREE. It's not too late to get some ugly Christmas sweaters for next year. Go ahead and get 20% off over at tipsyelves.com. Our code still good over at tipsyelves.com. Use code FTL at the checkout. You'll save 20% site-wide. Or maybe you want one of their collegiate designs. Because, I don't know, there's probably some bowl season stuff happening in college sports.
Yes, there is.
Right, so college sports, you like that stuff? You got logos and all kinds of neat products over at tipsyelves.com. Now, they're known for their ugly Christmas sweaters, and they have some ridiculous, outrageous, and hilarious Christmas sweaters, which you can go and get at 20% off with code FTL. But they also have interactive sweaters like beer pong and cornhole for men and women, plus Christmas suits for men. Women, you also get the choice of holiday leggings, sweater dresses, and pajamas. There's even pet products over at tipsyelves.com. An ugly pet sweater. How about that? tipsyelves.com. You go there and load up your shopping cart when you're ready to check out. Use code FTL like Free Talk Live. You'll save 20% site-wide. Now, Tipsy Elves sweaters are all about fun, but they're serious on quality and construction. If I'm getting cold, I'm throwing that Tipsy Elf sweater on because it keeps me warm, and I like it. It looks ridiculous, though, but that's kind of part of the fun. So, tipsyelves.com, code FTL at checkout. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Is there a war on Christmas? Apparently, Trump supporters in a poll conducted by Public Policy Polling, what was it, 60%?
60%
of
said
Trump supporters.
that there is a war on Christmas, and 24% of people that voted for Donald Trump say that that concerns them more than a possible war with China.
Who is conducting this war on Christmas? Who are the parties that are involved in the war?
Starbucks. It's all Starbucks.
Well, I want to hear from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Charlie. He's listening in Washington State. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, hi, guys. I just wanted to throw an idea out to your audience. I don't think there's a war on Christmas. I think Christmas has declared a war on us.
What does that mean?
I'm just really tired of people telling me I have to do something in a particular way because of the season, but it's Christmas or something like that. I'm going to donate to who I choose to donate to, whatever time of the year it is, or I'm not going to turn my back on somebody that's homeless just because it's the 4th of July. I find it. I think the line from Dickens in the Christmas Carol was something to the effect of Scrooge said, "I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year." Don't put Christmas in my face. And by the way, I'm a relatively devout Christian. But that's my belief.
I think that you kind of make an interesting point, and that is that people seem to think that this is the only time of year where charity is, matters, or that they should bother with. And I think that it's you're making a really good point that it's all year long where people need help. It's all year long where generosity is appreciated.
Now, I will say one thing about Christmas, and I don't necessarily, celebrate Christmas. So, like, there's no tree that I bought or anything, but I do like the idea of it's acceptable to give gifts to people around this time of year. Whereas, like if just randomly one day in July you walked up to somebody with a wrapped box and was like, "Here, I got you a gift," they'd be like, "What kind of crazy person are you?" But you give somebody a wrapped gift in December and they're like, "Oh, you got me a Christmas present. Thank you."
Yeah, they're less likely to call in the bomb squad in December, I guess.
Yep, no, very true. And it's my favorite Christmas of all time was when I was a much younger man, and a number of relatively poor friends and myself spent a long time at a department store shopping in the toy department trying to find just the right toys for Todd's gift. But I enjoy the spirit, but I don't want to be told to do something because it's this time of year.
Great point. Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate hearing from you tonight, calling us from Washington, listening to KITZ out of Silverdale. Thank you. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. And thanks to all of our radio stations for airing Free Talk Live tonight. I know that you could have gone with Christmas music, but you're here with us.
Or NFL football.
Oh, there's football on tonight?
There's football on tonight because tomorrow is Christmas Day, so there's a much lighter schedule. There's only 3 pro football games tomorrow.
Well, it's less likely.
I know that because I play fantasy football.
Yeah, it's less likely that any of our stations would be airing football if they weren't the NFL affiliate in town. So it's not like they had to choose on that one.
Right.
Let's go to Tony in New Mexico. He's listening on Kiva, where we're live tonight. Go ahead, Tony.
Hey, guys. Love the show.
Welcome, sir.
I just want to say it's not specifically a war on Christmas so much as just the whole politically correct culture becoming sort of out of control. And I think that's where most of these people are getting it. And, the 25% of Trump supporters who say they more worried about this than a war with China are, come on. I mean, 25% of America are idiots. So any 25% of any party is really going to be sort of irrational in their thinking.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and I think it was not too long ago, 30-some-odd% of Republicans were supporting bombing Agrabah, which you may recall.
The fictional city from Aladdin.
The fictional city from Aladdin, yes.
Yeah, so Tony, tell me a little bit more, though, about what you were saying about, it's not so much a war on Christmas as it was. You said the kind of the
PC culture,
political correct,
run amok.
Yeah, I mean, what do you give me as an example of the PC culture in relation to Christmas that would cause people to say that there's a war on Christmas?
Well, anybody who's uncomfortable with hearing the word Merry Christmas probably fall within this category. I mean, sure, not everybody, celebrates Christmas, but I mean, a huge percentage of Americans do. And I don't think people who say Merry Christmas are being, especially insensitive to people who celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa.
Yeah, no, I don't think they are either. I don't think they are. But at the same time, there are apparently people who are also offended by Happy Holidays. So some people say Happy Holidays because they don't want to offend others. But then they end up offending people who don't like hearing Happy Holidays.
Right, and it's actually more people that are offended by Happy Holidays than are offended by Merry Christmas. 13%
oh, really? I didn't know that.
to 3%.
Now, are we talking about just Trump supporters or all Americans?
Across the board.
Okay.
13% of Americans responded that they are personally offended by the phrase Happy Holidays, whereas only 3%
now, are those atheists?
said...
I don't know. That's a good
there
question.
might be some atheists
people
that
who are reacting to the politically correct culture.
There might be some atheists. They do not ask religious persuasion.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, presumably, there could be people who are Christians who are offended by Happy Holidays because it doesn't indicate Christianity specifically, and they want their religion to be more prominent than others. And you could be right. There could be some atheists in there who are just, upset that anyone would celebrate a holy day,
right?
And so they're offended as well.
So let's look here at the favorability number. And I glossed over these briefly. Christmas has a 91% favorable rating, 5% unfavorable. Hanukkah has the same unfavorable rating of 5%, but only 75% have a favorable opinion of that holiday. Kwanzaa has an 18% unfavorable rating, 47% find that favorable. So if we look at this and see, okay, there's 5% of people that have an unfavorable opinion of Christmas, but only 3% are offended by the term Merry Christmas. There's 2% of people that don't like Christmas that don't care if you say Merry Christmas.
Tony, anything else you want to share with us tonight? Go ahead.
I'm good, man. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
So let me ask you this question real quick before we drop you. If your grandmother got run over by a reindeer, what would you do with her presents?
Oh, I don't know. Probably put him in the casket with her. I have no idea.
Okay, well, 40% of Americans that were part of this survey said that they would actually open the presents. 30% would send them back, and the other 30% said they're not really sure what they'd do.
Thanks for the call, Tony. I appreciate hearing from you. What would you do? If you want to answer that question, you can join us here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. On this live Christmas Eve edition of the show, we got one more segment coming up, but there's enough time for you if you want to join us now.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-945-1063. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-945-1063. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-945-1063. That's 1-800-945-1063.
What looks good under your Christmas tree and tastes even better? Big Berkey water filters. Yes, the gift of clean water. A gift that provides a great foundation for achieving good health in the lives of your loved ones. A Big Berkey water filter gives them protection from bacteria, heavy metals, chlorine, fluoride, pesticides and herbicides, VOCs and more. And best of all, a Big Berkey water filter is a gift that lasts for many years with no additional investment. And that saves time and money in filter replacements that other water filters require and are even powerful enough to purify treated, untreated, or even stagnant pond water. As always, all orders over $50 are shipped free, and GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Order online at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com, spelled Big, B-E-R-K-E-Y, waterfilters.com, or call 877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Gift well this Christmas. Give a Big Berkey water filter.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. In the remaining moments, we got time for you. If you dial in right now, our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Want to invite you to the website at freetalklive.com. The other talk show hosts in the syndicated talk radio business, most of them want to charge you for their website. Well, we give you for free pretty much everything they're going to charge you for. We got the webcam. That's free. We got archives that go back for a decade. That's free. We got all kinds of stuff on the site. You can get interactive right there with the front page. You can submit content to the front page of the site. Other listeners can vote it up or down, whether they like it or not. It's a Reddit-based system, so of course that's free as well. You can go and enjoy over at freetalklive.com. But if you want to give something to Free Talk Live, besides your ears, besides your attention, besides sharing the show, you can give us $5 a month for the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And it's money that we invest into Free Talk Live so we can work on getting Free Talk Live on more radio stations, bringing new internet listeners on board with the show, exposing new people all around the globe to the ideas of liberty, whether it be through hundreds of radio stations, our satellite channels that are international, or other methods, for instance, our online streams or podcast. It's the AMP program that really helps us propel Free Talk Live out there. So please join the AMP program and enjoy the perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group. Get all the details. Get signed up with any major credit card, Visa, any major credit card through PayPal, Visa and MasterCard right there over at amp.freetalklive.com, and also Bitcoin at amp.freetalklive.com. More from the poll, Darryl. You said there's a couple other ridiculous questions that you wanted to share.
There are. So they asked the question, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of It's a Wonderful Life? And I've never actually seen the movie.
I know generally what
got Jimmy
about?
Stewart in it, and apparently, like he wants to kill himself, but then he's got some kind of flashback thing, or like here's what life would be like without you, and then at the end he's like, I don't want to die.
Isn't it like a retread of A Christmas Story? It sounds awfully familiar. You know how like the Ghosts of Christmas Past.
You mean A Christmas Carol?
Oh, so yeah, that's what it was.
A Christmas Story is the one where the kid, I want the BB gun. You're going to shoot your eye out, kid.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that movie. So yeah, the Christmas Carol, the one with Scrooge in it, that one.
I don't think Jimmy Stewart is visited by 3 ghosts.
Sure.
I think he's just, like, here's what life would be like without you.
But that's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, isn't it? It's kind of the same idea, at least a third of the same idea.
Right. It's part of the same idea.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with it. I don't think I've seen it all the way through. It's so ubiquitous on television, if you were growing up in the last 3 decades, you've probably come across it at some point.
But apparently 73% of respondents have a favorable opinion. Only 5% don't like the movie, and 22% say that they aren't sure what they think.
All right.
But is Santa, and again, they asked the people, is Santa real? And about 30% said yes.
I still find that to be one of the most shocking statistics.
They
in
then
the whole
asked
survey.
people, is Santa a Republican or a Democrat? What do you think people wound up saying?
Overall, all Americans? Not just like the Republicans?
It was 1,200 people that were surveyed.
But did they also break this question down by Trump voters and such? Okay.
I can tell you the breakdown.
Yeah.
But I'll give you the overall numbers first.
That's a tough one, man. I guess they would say he's a Democrat because welfare?
28% responded that they believe he's a Democrat. 19% said that he's a Republican, and 53% said they're not sure.
Don't know. All right.
Now, let's break this down by party. 51% of people that voted for Hillary say that Santa's a Democrat.
Okay.
Only 4% say he's a Republican. 5% of people that voted for Donald say that Santa's a Democrat, whereas 36% say he's a Republican.
That's interesting.
The remainder say they're not sure. Now, for Jill Stein voters, 90% aren't sure. The other 10, they're pretty positive that Santa is a Democrat. And for Gary Johnson voters, 22% think he's a Democrat. 5% say he's a Republican. The rest aren't sure what he is.
I want to get Cindy on the line here. She's in Indiana, watching us on the cam over at cam.freetalklive.com. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Merry Christmas.
Hey, thanks.
Anyway, the reason I'm calling is because this war on Christmas is ridiculous. You hear about it every year. I don't think there is a war on Christmas. And
All right.
This business about whether to say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, I don't understand why people aren't just happy that you take the time to say anything nice to them at all.
Yeah.
There are probably some people that just want to be grouchy no matter what you do.
That's absolutely true. And the final thing I was going to say is that nobody has the right to go through life without being offended.
Yep, that's definitely true, especially in the United States where we have a purported freedom of speech. Inevitably, at some point, someone's going to say something you don't like.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have a great night.
Hey, thanks, Cindy, for your call and thoughts. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So, yeah, I mean, still would love to hear from somebody who thinks there is a war on Christmas, and maybe we can actually find one of these stories. Because, as she said, somebody's always talking about this.
Right.
But I don't run in those circles, so I don't see those headlines or whatever. Nobody's really sharing that with none of my friends on social media.
The only thing that I hear about is how Starbucks is, firing the first shot in the war on Christmas this year.
Did that happen again this year?
Yes.
Okay, because I've heard it in the past, but I didn't know if they'd trotted it out
their
again.
Cups this year were like green or something. Like there was a snowflake on it, and that's not Christmas, so therefore war on Christmas.
They need to have a manger on their cups.
Or an elf or something. I don't know what people want them to put on the cups.
Yeah.
But they're not happy that they're red or green.
Man, Starbucks cups have been so controversial in so many different ways. Not just the War on Christmas thing, but
it's
also
got the mermaid and something,
or the quotes. The quotes. Sometimes they'll have like quotes, influential quotes on there, and then people get all upset that they'll highlight a quote from this one person, but not this other person, and they're just constantly. Everybody's got an opinion about some of the dumbest crap.
I honestly could not tell you what a Starbucks cup, what color it is.
No, I couldn't either.
Year round. Like, I know I
just thought they were
logo
white
is
cups.
green,
Yeah.
but I don't know if the cup is white
No,
or
I think
if
they
it's
change
green.
it. They change the cup to green during the Christmas season, or they'll change the coloring of the cups.
Right. I remember last year it was a red cup, and people were all upset because, War on Christmas because it doesn't have Santa Claus or a Christmas tree or something. But I don't go... I'm not going to say I don't ever go to Starbucks, but I go so infrequently to where I have no clue.
According to the Chicago Tribune, apparently this year there are red cups at Starbucks. So maybe they were green on a previous year, now they're red because you don't want to upset the people who love green and red in this. So you pick one, pick the other. Somebody's going to get upset, right? So we'll do green one year, do red the next year, and try to calm everybody's nerves.
Here's an idea. Just have red, green, and white cups all at the same time and just hand them out randomly to where, no two people necessarily get the same color cup if they're behind line and want to...
Or you could let people pick their favorite color of cup.
Oh, yeah. 7-Eleven does that before big elections.
Is that right?
To where they'll have like red cups and blue cups.
That's right.
And
then
you
vote for the...
They try to predict who's going to wind up winning elections.
Based on who buys however many cups.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting idea. So anyway.
Yeah, so maybe here's an idea for Starbucks. Have blue cups for Hanukkah and come up with a color cup for Kwanzaa and then a cup for Christmas and then let people vote for their favorite holiday.
It's
and
it's
then
just
clear
frustrating.
cups for people that are like, I don't really care, just give me the damn coffee.
Just don't spill it on me, okay? That's all I care about. So anyway, we're still here, by the way, tomorrow night. So even though live Christmas Eve edition, it's been a great show, by the way. I appreciate everybody who's participated here this evening because, there's no one else you can listen to that's live on the radio, so I'm glad that you are here with us. And we're going to be live tomorrow night on Christmas Day. Thank you to Brad over at GCN, the generous individual who came in and donated his time tonight. We'll be sending him a thank you gift.
And also New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Correct. We're going to be live every day throughout the holidays, so we're here for you. If you want to share your thoughts with us on any topic, whatever, you can take control of the airwaves. Tomorrow night from 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time, you can join us. Between now and then, you can join us online anytime at freetalklive.com. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and yours.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The live edition of Off the Air Live is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, December 24th, 2016. Silver is trading at $15.75 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,134 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $894. Antiwar.com reports a top commander among U.S. embedded forces in Iraq, Colonel Brett Sylvia, talked up considerable expansion of the U.S. embedding into Iraqi forces, saying they are trying to deepen the level of integration with the Iraqi military to cover forces.
The latest episode of Off the Air Live is
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, December 24th, 2016. Silver is trading at $15.75 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,134 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $894. Antiwar.com reports a top commander among U.S. embedded forces in Iraq, Colonel Brett Sylvia, talked up considerable expansion of the U.S. embedding into Iraqi forces, saying they are trying to deepen the level of integration with the Iraqi military to cover forces that previously did not have any U.S. troops embedded with them. The exact number involved aren't clear, but the U.S. has some 6,000 ground troops in Iraq at any given time. Colonel Sylvia indicated that it would be less of a sense of having an embedded soldier in Iraqi groups and more about having an entire special operations team embedded into the Iraqi military. This likely reflects the lack of progress made in the past week in Mosul, where heavy fighting has seen soaring casualties among Iraqi special forces, but no territory has changed hands. Previous U.S. officials have sought to downplay that as part of a refit, but it's clear changes are being made. Sylvia described this as a natural progression of the U.S. mission in Iraq, which other officials have indicated has become virtually permanent, with suggestions that the U.S. is going to keep troops in Iraq long after the war against the Islamic State to ensure that new Islamic states don't crop up. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Tennessee police released surveillance video of a naughty Santa acting nice by handing out candy canes at a bank he robbed only moments later. The Memphis Police Department said in a Facebook post the man, clad in a burgundy sweater and a Santa Claus mask covering his face, walked into the Memphis City Employees Credit Union about 10 a.m. on Wednesday and handed out candy canes to customers and employees, wishing them a Merry Christmas.